I just did a video on Palantir. My biggest regret as an investor is selling Palantir. I probably sold it around $20. And I can't remember how much I put into it. Hopefully it wasn't that much, because I would have at least had 500% return. And it just, because we always say to ourselves, I should buy this stock. I should buy this stock. This looks like a good deal. But we usually don't buy it. Like, sometimes we do buy it, but a lot of stocks we talk about buying it. But I actually had it. So that's why it's so painful. I'm not mad that I didn't get Nvidia, because, there's a lot that happens a lot. A stock goes up a ton. I don't like, I'm not going to jump over a bridge every time a stock goes up in price. But the fact that I owned it at one point, it kind of eked me up inside. So you're never going to be happy. Even when you make money, you're still not happy. You just have to just accept it. It's kind of like letting that girl get away. That girl you really liked, and you screwed up because you cheated on her, or maybe you acted like a jerk towards her. And you always think back, oh, I'm so dumb. I could have been with my dream girl. But even if you get what you want, like say that's your situation, say you're all stressed out because there's a relationship 10 years ago that you screwed up. But if you were in that relationship, I guarantee it wouldn't be like pure happiness every day. You're going to be miserable no matter what happens. Like, once you solve one problem, like if money's a problem, or finding a job is a problem, or getting to a relationship is a problem, once you solve that one problem, then a whole host of other problems comes along. So it's not like, you ever watch that show 600-Pound Life? Like, those people, they get surgery, the stomach gets cut and made a lot smaller, so they physically can't eat as much. And what happens is that they're usually not happy. Now they can't eat, and they end up losing weight. And then now that they have to deal with the problems that got them fat in the first place, all the stresses, all the it could have been they were abused when they were younger. That's a pretty common theme. Or they could have it could be a whole different things. So now they have to deal, because eating was like their drug. They used eating to escape. When there was pain, when there was stress, they just ate. People do that with drugs and alcohol. It's a way to mask the problem. If you fix that problem, you're not drinking anymore. Now you have to focus on the real problem, the root of the problem that got you into the drinking in the first place. Okay, let's talk about Palantir. So this is it's blowing up like gangbusters. And did anybody own Palantir? It's hard to hold a stock for a long time. I did sell other stocks. That I sold my Intel, and that never rebounded. I mean, this is 250 billion market cap. So I didn't hold it at the bottom. I think I could have maybe like 5x or 6x my investment if I would have held on to my Palantir. I just hope I didn't invest a lot of money into it. If I did, it's going to make me more depressed by getting rid of it. But it's like Nvidia. I just didn't see the connection between what they do and how big it could be. Like, it didn't register. Now it still doesn't register that well, but at least I kind of understand it, because they're getting. But you know what? They're just like all these other companies, Tesla, Google. It's really, really overvalued. They're trading at 549 times earnings, 222 times free cash flow. Like this is just ridiculous, right? Valuation. Like who would buy a stock trading at these levels? That's like saying, let's see, 549 times earnings. Let me give you an example. So say your friend wanted you to invest in his business. And let's just say he had 10,000 of revenue. And you said, okay, how much he wants to sell you half his business. You own half the business. And you say, how much money do you want to sell it for? And he's saying, well, I value the business at, this is apples for apples comparison. 10,000 of revenue, of annual revenue, which isn't a lot, right? He said, my business is worth $5.5 million. You were expecting like $10,000 because generally small businesses trade at one times revenue. So he's saying it's $5.5 million, and your response is like, how do you come up with that? Well, he might have all these models in place and things like that. Hey, Daryl, but that's just a crazy high valuation, right? I mean, it's if he solved the problem, like if he developed a new drug or he came up with like a solution for something, or he built a device so much better than the competition. But if he's just doing something like just a normal run of day business, so that's the impression the market has. They're willing to buy a stock at $250 billion. It's only 2.9 billion of revenue. 2.9 billion. Like if you look, just it's Adobe, who's 160 billion market cap. So it's like what, 20-30% smaller in terms of the cost. This is how much the market is saying Adobe's worth. And look at Adobe's revenue, 22 billion. It's like, what is that, like 10x the revenue? So why is it so overvalued? It happened with a lot of companies, Tesla, Google, but those companies grew. Their revenue grew and it made it worth it. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be worth it. I think it's going to go up though. I can't just Palantir. Well, Nvidia did it. Palantir hits $1 trillion. It's just hard to imagine, but um, I guess it's possible. Because who thought Nvidia would have hit $1 trillion? Not only did they hit $1 trillion, they're worth it. They grew into their numbers. Well, let's see what the analysts say. Let's see what the analysts forecast their. So revenue is projected to grow to 2.6. I mean, free cash flow is 2. Let's do revenue since we're talking about it. Revenue 6.4 billion. Let's assume they hit these revenue targets. It does get to 6.4 billion. Even if the market cap stays the way it is, like right now, revenue is 2. What's market cap? 254 billion. So they're trading at 88 times revenue. 88 times revenue. Not 549 was the PE ratio, 88 times revenue. So this is their price of sales. if they do hit, let's go a little higher. Let's round it higher to 7 billion. So they say they do hit 7 billion. Then at 36 times revenue, which is still really high. Nobody's 36 times revenue. The worst is 26 times revenue. And that's CrowdStrike, another hyper growth company. So they literally have to get, I mean, because you want to get to like a 10 price of sales. The average is 11 in the industry. So they would need 25 billion of revenue to hit that. They're at 2.9. I don't know. I mean, 25 billion of annual revenue is not that crazy. I guess it's possible. Maybe we should buy Palantir. What did everybody think? They're they have like, it's a little different business model than most companies. They're it's big data analytics. They do a lot of counterterrorism. I think 60% of their revenue is, maybe a little more, 65% U.S. government. Okay, we're back. They identify patterns hidden deep within data sets, ranging from signals, intelligence sources, to reports from confidential informants. They have Palantir Foundry, Palantir Apollo. So they work with companies like Tesla. They do give examples on what they actually do. They're working with Cleveland Clinic, using AIP to streamline our operations and bring world-class care to patients. It's not really that transparent, right? Like, what exactly do they do? If they're working with Cleveland Clinic, I guess they're doing something well. Something with they're leveraging their technology with this hospital. A lot of business with the U.S. government, and that kind of makes sense. Rio Tinto, one of the largest mining companies in the world. They're located in Britain, so it's a pretty big relationship. They've been around 150 years. And it does look like Tesla. Daryl, too rich for my blood. It is. It is seem a little. I've been holding Palantir since it went up public. You said it's amazing. See, you have diamond hands. That's it, right? Diamond hands or diamond fingers? I should have held it. I just, you make mistakes, right? This is probably the worst mistake I think I made. The worst sale. I didn't have faith in the company, and I probably bought in around 25, and I think I sold pretty close to that price. I was trying to look on E-Trade when I bought and sold it, but actually I don't really want to know, because it's gonna stress me out too much. It was like giving money away. Larry Williams? Who's Larry Williams? He says I'm wrong? Oh, it's a song. You either okay. You either bought too much or bought too little. But no matter what, we're not going to be happy. Even when we make money, we're like, oh, I should have put more into it, or I should have. Like, I'm up a lot on Netflix, and I'm just mad that I didn't buy more during the dip. Um, so no matter what the situation is, even if you time it really well on the bottom, you time the buy on the bottom, or you time the sell on the top. Even if you do that, you're just gonna be mad. Like, oh, I bought it at the bottom, but I didn't buy enough. I bought at 25 and 32, then it dipped to 6, right? And it dipped to 6, and you probably like. So I did that with a different stock. I can't remember what stock. I kept buying the dip, and it just kept dipping. Then I lost like $40,000. If I did that with this stock, of course, yeah, I would have been a millionaire. I would have had like, you know, half a million dollars, something like that. But I can't keep buying the dip on every single stock. I picked one. It wasn't a good pick. That is, Larry says, you're always wrong. You're making lots of money, but you're wrong because you should have bought more. Just announced a NATO contract partnership last week, and that's really just a start of the EU growth. So maybe we should load up in Palantir. But remember when Nvidia fell to 200 million, and that was a great time to buy it, right? Like, it went to like 500 million market cap, 500 billion, and then fell to 200 billion. And even at 200 billion, we were saying, oh, it's kind of high, 200 billion, because I remember when it was trading at 10 billion. And now look at it, it's 3 trillion. That's just the way it goes. So yeah, it did pull back from its high. It was 124. It's still, quarter trillion market cap. It's a big number. I don't know. Net income is down. Net income for the fourth quarter was 79 million. It was 140 million last quarter because of the stock-based compensation. They say if they remove stock-based compensation, net income will be 165 million. And the rule of 40, they follow the rule of 40. I think they define it. So that's when you take the sum of your revenue growth and your operating margin. So the revenue growth for Q4 is 36%, and the operating margin is 45%. So they say the sum of these two numbers should be higher than 40. And it's 40 every single quarter except the second quarter of 2023, which was 38%. The rule of 40. They doubled it in Q4. They're 80. Really, like, the margins, it's crazy, right? I only plan to buy it if it drops to 60-ish. The stock base was also, if the stock price reached 50, it triggered a special bonus, from my understanding, one-time bonus. Yeah, I guess I should just focus on the wins. Should just be happy that I have some winners in the bunch. Okay, let's see what else it says. So U.S. revenue growth, the government, so 340 million of U.S. government revenue for Q4. I think total revenue is around 1 billion. But it's their margins that are just 45% operating margin. That's, I mean, I think 25% is really good, and they're 45%, which is unbelievable. But the thing is, their revenue. I know that they're more profitable. Their margins are going up, but their revenue isn't going up that much. Here, I'll show you. I mean, it's going up. It's up. It's about double, 600 million to 2.9 billion. So I guess it is going up a lot, but it's just their 2.9 billion. Because I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, I was looking since 2021. That's why. See, their free cash flow went from 300 million to 1.1 billion. .9. This is just from 2021 to current. But if you go back even further, 2018 is 600 million to 2.9 billion. So that looks good. And they went from negative free cash flow to positive 1.1 billion. Palantir chart looks to be risking a double top and a bit of a negative divergence. Yeah, I wouldn't sell puts. I mean, I did that with Meta and my stock got called away. Oh, sell puts. I'm thinking covered calls. Yeah. That's one way to do it. Sell puts to and if it hits a certain price, then you'll pick it up. We into Q4 with so they're debt free, 5.2 billion in cash. Because they don't have CapEx. They don't really make anything. There's pretty much no CapEx spend. They have a lot of contracts in place. Here's Q4. Oh no, this is revenue. Okay, this is annual. Okay, Q4, I see. 2.9 billion to 2.2 billion. They're growing. Actually, the growth has subsided a little bit. Oh no, Q4 the growth is 36%, and it is up from 30%. Everything's up. It's just like Nvidia. It looks just like Nvidia. And they don't have a lot of employees, right? I guess this could hit 2-3 trillion. 3,900 employees. It's so painful. I'm so stupid. It kills me. You just got to live with it, right? Okay, operating income, 310 million. They do give a lot of stock-based compensation, 690 million. So their stock-based compensation is higher than their operating income. And they have to pay taxes on, because when you give stock to employees, it doesn't affect cash flow because the stock is, you don't pay for your own stock, but you do have to pay taxes on it. It's 126 million of taxes, which is like 35% of their operating income. So they do give a lot of stock-based compensation. That's one negative. If you adjust for stock-based compensation, operating income is 1.1 billion. and they're buying back a lot of stock, I believe. I wish they had shares outstanding on this, like, chart of shares outstanding. Palantir shares outstanding. Okay, so it's 2.3 billion currently. It's up a little bit. They haven't been buying back as much as they've been issuing because they give a lot of stock. So when you give stock-based compensation and it hits the income statement, then that means the stock was added. It was given to the employee. The only way it hits the income statement is if it was actually given to the employee. Like if you're given options, say you join this company and they say, it's 120 a share right now. Once it hits, well, 113. Once it hits 140, then we'll give you $100,000 stock. So it just gives them a little time because, and of course, if it hits 140 and they're successful, they're doing well as a company. So the stock doesn't, if they say that 140 is your stock options, it doesn't, no shares are added and it's not in the income statement. But once it hits the 140 and you receive the shares, then that's when they put the expense onto the income statement. It's I made, I lost money selling. I wish I would have, if I would have just dollar cost average on this one. I did what I can't remember what stock I did that on. I kept dollar cost averaging and I lost so much money. Do you guys know it's that it's a medical company. They have shit. Can't remember the name of the company. Um they do research on drugs. So Carp is selling. This is the time to sell. I think it's getting to a really high point, and he probably has. He's been with the company since the beginning. I can't imagine how much he has now. Peter Thiel, he's still the biggest shareholder. Peter Thiel. That's why I bought in the first place when Peter Thiel was on the board, and I sold it once I heard he left the board. That's why I sold it. But he's still the biggest shareholder. I should have stuck. What's the reason he left Palantir? Because that's when he launched Palantir in 2003. Okay, I'm sure. Um, he continues as chairman as of 2022. Thiel stated that the idea he envisioned Palantir as a big data mining. I don't know why he left Palantir. I don't. I'm pretty sure he left. Maybe he's still with Palantir. Maybe I read the wrong article. I think Peter Thiel is best known as co-founder. He sold over $1 billion worth of Palantir stock over the last few days. He remains one of the largest shareholders of Palantir. I should have kept it. He actually didn't leave. Did Peter Thiel leave Palantir? I guess he didn't. See that? That was the reason I sold it, and he didn't even leave. Unbelievable. Well, I don't know if I would have held. Like, it's so hard. You just never know. RELX, 98 billion. That's a pretty big market cap, and it's $54 a share. So RELX. So to do a DCF, you just need to value the company. It's 98 billion, and then you have to predict the future free cash flows. And we could just look at analyst forecasts. This is in pounds. Well, let's look at the ticker trades in the US. I mean, trades in the UK. 40.74. We want to do the same currency. So it's 74 billion pounds. It's trading at 40 pounds. What's the future forecast? It's in pounds. It's up 2.8 billion. So let's grow it to 2.8 billion. 2.1, 2.5, 2.8. So it does seem overvalued. 100 billion. Palantir is extremely overvalued. I in my model, I had the free cash flow growing a lot more than it should, and the WACC really low, and it's still overvalued. Sponsor the threat to create the demand. The friendly hacking scheme. Palantir, I'm sure. So what's RELX? It operates through 4 segments: risk, scientific, technical, medical, legal, and exhibitions. Okay. It's a British information and analytics company. It's pretty new, started in 1993. So they have a lot of revenue, 9 billion pounds. What's that, like 15 billion US dollars? And Palantir is only 2 billion. Do they pay a dividend? 1.6% dividend, 1.4% buyback. So that's they're giving 3% back to their the total shareholder yield is 3%. They're growing dividends by 7.9%. They're British, so they pay semi-annual dividend payments. US companies usually pay quarterly. So pretty low, to 2% yield. So lots of insider selling by 3 different people. One small buy. You can see the big funds own it. BlackRock. Yeah, I'm sure it works with U.S. companies. Any big company is going to work with a U.S. company. 35,000 employees. It looks pretty good. Let's see where the stock price has moved the past. So it has done really well since the very beginning. But you see, like, if you owned it in the 90s up to the early 2000s, it really didn't do anything. That's what's hard when you put money to a stock and it trades sideways, because you want your money to grow. There was a pullback when it broke through 40. It did come down 35, but now it's getting pushed back up again. Even with the insider selling, the price kept rising but dipped hard with macro environment concerns. Yeah, it did come down, but it came right back up. It's trading pretty close to its all-time high, and its all-time high was just 2 months ago. It's overvalued. It's probably going to be overvalued by a lot of. I wonder what Palantir is that overvalued? It has to be overvalued. Yeah, 65. Because analysts may not have it overvalued, but it's just the price multiples. So it's okay. Analysts say it's overvalued also. The thing is, sometimes I buy stocks that are overvalued because stocks, they move well before fundamentals get there. So it's fine to buy a stock that is not a good value today because there's just so many people buying it. There's so much talk about it. And Palantir is extremely overvalued, but we said that about a lot of companies, right? I mean, they have the worst. Well, not the worst. Toast has the worst PE. And then Okta. But 550 PE. Price to free cash flow. Cloudflare is worse. Sometimes you have to do the opposite. Like, you know how they say look for a low PE, look for a low price to free cash flow. So if you do the opposite, a lot of times, because it's so much hype, but the price of sales, it's not even close. They're by far the worst. So they're bringing the least amount of revenue relative to their market cap by a big margin. But I probably would have sold it. I don't know if I would have held it. I don't know, maybe I would have. Yeah, HIMS, I've done HIMS a few times. That's much smaller, 6 billion. It had that big run up. I mean, look at that. It went from 20 to 70 and then right back down to the 20s. So it's regressed big time. Was that from bad earnings or? Okay, I think they did a stock offering. So that I think people got upset when they added 11 million shares. Oh, employee stock plan. Provides guidance. So that they provided guidance. I don't know if this was better or worse guidance, but I imagine it's worse because the stock went down. Reported earnings. So they're still operating at a loss. And they're saying Hims is worth 126, even though it's trading at 28. Analysts are at 45. Revenue up a ton. And they're also debt free. Root is an interesting insurance company. Another debt free company. I don't know how they do it. They don't pay a dividend. And the CEO is $600,000 salary for the CEO. So there's mostly insider selling. One really big buy. So that buy is about equal, actually more than all the sells. It's popular in Hims. I don't know if it's I don't know. I don't know why it's so popular actually. But it's a SPAC. I believe it started as a SPAC. Yeah, it started as a SPAC. So for a SPAC, I guess it's doing okay because a lot of SPACs start at 10 and eventually get down to $1. Yeah, I don't think hmm. Root online car insurance. Insurance. Also a new company, 2015 they started. It Buffett likes insurance companies. They're doing well the past year, up 131%. Wow, that's a weird chart, right? They did reverse stock splits. Look how low it got. It's so hard to even see it. The stock split. They did a reverse stock split. Does anybody know when they did a reverse stock split? They did a 1-for-18 reverse split in 2022 because the starting price is 400. A stock never IPOs at $400, so they had to do a reverse stock split. So it got really low. It looked like it was going to go bankrupt, I'm sure. And it's rebounded a lot since. I mean, imagine getting it for like $5. It got to 178. That's the thing. Like if you own a stock like Amazon, right, and you bought it when it first came out, imagine putting $10,000 into the stock, and then at one point it's $1 million. Like, how could you not sell it? Like, it's so hard not to sell. But if you would have held it, that million turned into like 50 million, something like that. You ever see like how? I guess if you had 10,000 and it was a million, maybe you'd sell half of it. I don't know, but it's just so hard to just hold when you see that much, because it goes up and down. It's not just you see a million, then a few months later it's 100,000. That happened. The .com crash. So it's just hard to like have the stomach to, even if you put 10,000 in, that's your cost basis. It doesn't mean anything, because if it hits a million, you're gonna and it goes down, you're gonna feel you lost a million, not lost 10,000. PayPal, WB, what? Wait, WB? I don't know. Weibo? I don't know who that is. I think you meant someone else. That's not it's a Chinese company. Yeah, PayPal is good. It's it used to be a lot better. I mean, it used to be a lot higher. It was what is it? 65. So it used to be 5 times as big. So it used to be like 300 billion market cap. That would have been a nightmare. Like if you invested in an IPO, it looks like it IPO kind of high, 40, and you put 10,000, your 10,000 would be like 15,000 right now. But at one point, it would have been like 70,000. So you're not going to be happy you made 10,000. You're just happy. You're just mad you lost 70,000. Well, Buffett owns Geico, 100% of Geico. So he definitely does car insurance. He has a lot of car insurance companies, I think, and not just Geico, but yeah. What else? Well, you could see, but Berkshire's portfolio. This is probably just his publicly traded companies in the portfolio, because Geico wouldn't show up, because Geico is a private company. It's not even on this list. It's just publicly traded stocks, because you can't really value. I mean, you could try to value, but no one knows the value of a private company. It's not like public companies. The valuation is out there. Everybody knows what it is. Berkadia mortgage financing. See, he has a company, Berkshire Hathaway Automotive. Actually, I'm not sure if that's insurance or not. Berkshire Hathaway Assurance. Oh yeah, I remember this company. I worked in this industry. Uh, Financial Guarantee, like Ambac MBIA. He came out with an insurance arm to compete with these companies. Canadian. I want a non-US credit card. Not sure where I get one. A non-US credit card? You mean you mean a credit card that's not owned by a US company? Um, a lot of companies offer credit cards. It's not just it's not the big ones like Visa, Mastercard, but like yeah, a lot of companies offer debit and credit cards. But you can just go through a bank, like there's a million Canadian banks, right? And I'm sure all the banks offer credit cards. Um, like Canadian credit card companies. Yeah, like Scotia Gold, American Express. Yeah, all the RBC, they all have credit cards. I think they should. Trump passes. Yeah, don't support us. You stick it to Trump. That's the way to do it. Okay. Well, I usually I've been live streaming a lot, getting bored, and then I'm like, gives me something to do, somebody to interact with. Life is so boring sometimes, right? Um, but okay, yeah. Well, thanks for joining and talking about stocks. I'm sure I'll stream tomorrow, possibly. Okay. Yep. Talk to you later.